It was 2023. Spring was coming. It was kind of day where the air still remembered winter. I remember sitting inside a classroom, music in my ears, pretending not to look at anyone. And actually, that's the thing about pretending. It never fully works. So you notice everything you're trying not to feel. The warmth of the classroom, the noise of people laughing. And that moment, the split-second glance you were never supposed to make. So I told myself it meant nothing. But my heart disagreed. It's actually strange how silence can be loud when courage doesn't show up. So I tried to bury it under scrolling, under noise, under another day. But that 1 second follows you around like a ghost. A memory that wants to be more than a memory. A few weeks later, I saw her again, same place, but she was talking to someone with different rhythm in her laugh. And I thought, maybe that's how it always works. Someone shows up while you stay rehearsing. Someone speaks when you're still writing the perfect line in your head. And after, I convinced myself that timing was the villain, but really, it's fear dressed up as wisdom. I remember walking home that day, trying to convince myself it didn't matter, that I wouldn't have known what to say anyway. But deep down, I knew the truth. It wasn't actually about her, it was about me. And the habit of hiding behind quiet. I thought I was protecting myself from embarrassment, but I was actually practicing regret. A few months passed. Life moved as it always does. New seasons. But every now and then, I caught myself in a familiar situation. It's almost comedic how predictable it becomes. Because you recognize opportunity by the way it makes your chest tighten. And then you watch it walk away again. I started to realize something around that. The most painful regrets aren't about the things you said. They're about the moments you watched die quietly inside of you. I always thought I'll get another chance, another night, another glance, another small moment to be brave. But I didn't count the cost of waiting. Because every time I stayed silent, I taught myself that quiet is safer than truth. And every time I flinched away from courage, I told my future self to carry another version of me who didn't try. There's this scenes that replays in my mind, not for drama, but because it's real. I was waiting at a crosswalk, scrolling my phone, and two strangers besides me started talking. just a simple hi. Nothing scripted, nothing impressive. So I looked up, and that old weight hit me again. Realization. Because someone else was living the story I kept rehearsing, and suddenly, my silence didn't feel poetic anymore. It just felt like absence. There's a certain peace that comes when you finally understand nobody is asking you to be perfect. They just want you to show up. Not as a version that hides behind timing or logic, but as a version that remembers what it feels like to feel something and obey it. And that's the courage. Not grand, not loud, just obedient emotion. And the truth is, she probably would have talked back. Maybe she would have smiled, maybe not. Maybe nothing would have happened. Yeah, maybe nothing would have happened. But at least the story would have ended honestly, not quietly. When I think back about that now, I realize how much of my life disappears because of hesitation. It doesn't leave suddenly, it fades slowly. It fades every time you tell yourself, not now. Until one day, you wake up and realize you've perfected the art of almost leaving. And I guess that's why I'm sitting here right now, talking to you and me, to anyone who's ever looked away too soon. The older I get, the less I fear failure. But what really scares me now is becoming someone my younger self wouldn't recognize. Someone quiet when I promised I'll be bold. Because silence is a way of aging faster than courage. It turns your youthful energy into gray, dark. Also, it makes you slower to try and faster to justify why you didn't. And maybe that's what growing up actually means. Right? Learning the cost of every unspoken word. Realizing that courage doesn't always look like battle. Sometimes it just looks like staying in the moment. Not running from it, not laughing it off, just staying. Because somewhere down the line, your future self is watching you, and he already knows the price of this hesitation. He remembers what you didn't say, and he's hoping even now that this version of you is the one that finally moves. The world doesn't need you to be perfect. It just needs you to stop blinking through your chances. You don't have to be fearless, just visible. And the truth is, she saw you. She saw the way you looked at her and the way you looked away. And maybe right now, that's all you need to understand. Because courage isn't always found in a grand gesture. Sometimes it's hidden in the seconds between eye contact and action. So next time you're here, you're there, I don't know where you are, don't wait for the perfect line. You already lost too many moments rehearsing. Well, just breathe and speak. Because no one ever rewrites the night they were brave. And maybe just maybe, that's the night your story finally starts.